Now let's cover the backstory between the feud of Ron Previty and Joseph Skinny Joey Merlino. Ron Previty was infamously known for being a corrupted police officer turned mobster turned government informant. In short terms, from cop to mob to rat. This video is not a full biography on Ronald Previty. Instead, this video will summarize his life. We will post another video of his full life and biography another time. Until then, enjoy this one. During the 1980s, Ronald Previty was forced to resign from the police department after doing illegal activities as a police officer. He found more trouble when he ran into Philadelphia mobsters. During this time, Nicodemo, Little Nicky Scarfo, was the reigning godfather of Philadelphia's crime family. His nephew, bodyguard, captain turned underboss, Philip Crazy Phil Leonetti, will cross paths with Ronald Previty. Philip Leonetti also crossed paths with Previty. The crime family members were not allowed to do drug business deals, but they would shake down drug dealers or anyone doing any illegal activities without paying the street tax. The street tax was commissioned by Nicky Scarfo, in which any person on the street was doing any illegal activity and they would have to pay the mob without facing any consequences. Previty will fall victim of this type of coercion. However, Leonetti and Scarfo's reign as active mobsters will come to an end in the year of 1988, after many Philadelphia crime family members were arrested for murder, extortion, and more under the RICO charges. John Stanfa, who was the driver of the late godfather Angelo Bruno, the night Bruno was gunned down, will be Nicky Scarfo's successor thanks to the commission, the bosses of the five families of New York. The remaining crime family members were not appeased of Stanfa because many of the remaining crime family members were second generation and were Americanized. John Stanfa was directly from Italy and was old enough to be many of his underlings' father. Therefore, tensions were rising within the crime family structure. There is a cultural and ethnic difference, a generation clash, and more. Stanfa came from the generation that wanted to be clandestine, as opposed to the others who wanted to be seen in the spotlights as gangsters. Many felt, what's the point of being a gangster if no one doesn't know who you are? Ron Previty will work as an underling under Stanfa. He would start being Stanfa's personal driver. He was soon to be made under Omerta and eventually rise to the ranks as a capo regime. On the other hand, a rising faction under the Stanfa regime, Joseph Skinny Joey Merlino, allegedly will be the one who will rise against the Stanfa faction, who will rise against Stanfa and will take leadership that will wage war against him. Meanwhile, Ron Previty, as a mobster, turned into an informant and worked undercover trying to take down both John Stanfa and Joey Merlino. Here is Previty's take on both Stanfa and Merlino. Previty was trusted by Stanfa very much, since Stanfa did not have much followers and needed all the support he could get. Unfortunately for Ron Previty, Joey Merlino was very distant from Previty. Previty tried his best to wear wires all the time and record any incriminating evidence against Stanfa and Merlino. By 1993, Previty was a big earner for the Philadelphia crime family. Previty wore a wire for more than 2.5 years, recording more than 400 hours of conversation. By 1994, law enforcement gathered enough evidence to intervene. Philadelphia crime boss John Stanfa is charged with racketeering and narcotics. The judge throws the book at Stanfa and sentenced him to 5 consecutive lifetimes. At the time of this recording, John Stanfa is still alive and no changes have been made of his sentencing. One of the key informants of taking down John Stanfa was one of his own men, Ronald Previty. The same year sentence, another mob boss emerged named Ralph Natali. He was an associate of Joey Merlino. He was recently released from prison and alleged he made Joey Merlino his underboss. The commission has never finalized this decision since they were facing legal issues of their own. Merlino was getting more popularity in the media, being seen on the streets serving his South Philadelphia community by giving out turkeys and celebrating the holidays with everyday folks. Natali was more clandestine and linked to dabble in the narcotics games. Ron Previte tried to build a rapport with Natali and Merlino by showing his lucrative business operations. The 1990s were ending, a new decade and millennium was beginning. Previty discreetly kept recording his interactions with Merlino and Natali. He used this evidence by testifying against during mob trials, which helped convict over 50 mobsters, including Joey Merlino and Ralph Natali. The FBI was ready to strike thanks to Ronald Previty. Ralph Natali pleaded guilty to 8 murders, several attempted murders, extortion, illegal gambling, loan sharking, and drug distribution. Natali knew based on the previous conviction that if he was to face all these criminal charges, Ralph Natali knew based on the previous conviction that if he was faced all these criminal charges and be convicted, he would face a life sentence. So he decided to spare his life by making history to be the first active mafia boss turned informant and gave up all of his associates, including Joey Merlino. Joey Merlino was acquitted on several charges. However, in 2001, Joey Merlino was sentenced to 14 years in prison on charges of racketeering. Unlike many mob informants, Ron Previty did not care that he was labeled a rat. He embraced the name as a badge of honor like he did when he served the Air Force and Police Department. Following the trials, Ron Previty turned down offers for witness relocation and refused any protection from the federal government. He lived under an assumed name in Hamilton, New Jersey. He embraced the life he lived, appeared on several documentaries and YouTube content. Here's what he said about that.
Well, yeah, he was a GQ gangster. He liked to dress nice. He liked women. He liked flashy cars. He was a flashy guy. He needed a lot of money to live the life he did. He was a funny guy. But Joey was a stone-cold killer also.
In 2004, author and journalist George Esther wrote Previty's life story called The Last Gangster. We recommend you to read and see the link in the description on how to purchase the book and get a full detail of the life of Ron Previty. In 2011, Joseph Merlino was released from prison. Several reports believe that he left the mob, while the feds believe he's still running the Philadelphia crime family to this day. On August 21st, 2017, Ronald Previty died in Galloway Township, New Jersey hospital of a heart attack. He was 73 years old. On January 22nd, 2022, Ralph Natali died at the age of 86. Ron Previty may have won the battle at war against the Philadelphia crime family in the name of greed. However, Joey Merlino is still alive and has the final words to say about Ron Previty.
The FBI words, what the informant said.
Absolutely.
If you read this stuff, you'll think you're...
Yeah, I know nothing about it, so I want to read it too. It's interesting.
When you see what they did, you have no idea. They gave another fat motherfucker, Ron Previty, $1 million cash.
Jesus.
To testify against me. $1 million. And they bought him a house, they paid for his daughter's wedding, a new Cadillac, and a Rolex.
Wow.
Cash.
Yeah.
He's another beauty. Another guy got caught doing a crime by himself.
Peter Caprio, a.k.a. The Crumb.
Pete the Crumb, yeah. He more people than cancer. He said he needed me to tell him to kill somebody.
Okay. And Ron Previte?
Previty.
Sorry.
Yeah, he was a cop. He was a fat piece of... I got tapes I'm going to play on my podcast. I'll send them to you. The government's so crooked. When he was a cop, The judge won't let us play it. I'm surprised. If it was today, like this was 99, if the trial was today, they would throw him out. He said when he was a cop, all he used to do is go get black people and beat them up and rob them and throw them down the steps. That was his thing. Like he's telling me this on tape. I said, what? He said, yeah, that's all I used to do is go into bad neighborhoods, rob all the black people, take all the money and throw them down the steps. He threw them out windows and everything. Nice. That's the people they took as a witness. Beautiful.
Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to our channel and check out more of our content. Feel free to give your feedback and suggestions on what we should do next in the comments. This is Infinite Lee Productions. We love ya.